Well, I think I found a fix. I think I found a fix. Apparently I've had power save on this whole time. That might be what's causing it. And that would actually make a lot of sense because what was making it happen a lot more was when I had my external SSD plugged in. That was making it happen way more often. So what I'm thinking, what's been happening this whole time, I really just think the capture card or my USB ports are on their way out, but I'm thinking what might have been happening this whole time is that the computer is trying to turn off the hub. It's trying to turn off my USB hub because there's too much power being used in other things. So I'm hoping this will fix it. Sorry for the wait. Honestly felt like freaking throwing my capture card out the window. Tech problems are really frustrating. I hope people realize that. It's really difficult. Especially when we're in the middle of a pandemic and it's so much harder to get things replaced. Like money is only part of the issue. It's like they take forever to send stuff right now. So having things break on you when this is one of the jobs you depend on for money is really frustrating. I'm hoping that it'll work for another few days. What is it? It's almost Monday, right? Saturday. It's not finding anything. It would be great if I just fixed it right now. That would be awesome if it fixed it. But I know it's not going to because I have such terrible luck. Take your time. Yeah, I'm the one that took time, not you guys. Because everything I had seemed to just spontaneously combust. It's all good. Be funny if I just fixed it right now, just by looking up on Google. I don't know how the power save got turned back on. I know I had it turned off at some point. That might have been what's causing this the entire time. Because this thread... Let me pull this up since I'm just waiting. Let me pull this up. Seems like my exact issue. It's a different capture card, but it's the exact issue I'm having. It just randomly crapping out for no reason. Let me see. So this person says they bought an Elgato HD60. I bought the upgraded version of this. And plug it in. Everything seems to be running smoothly until my screen goes black for a few seconds. Blah blah blah. It got picture back on my TV, but OBS never got the signal back, so I had to restart. That's exactly what happens. Like you guys, do you guys hear the device disconnecting and reconnecting when that happens? Because I don't have sound on PC when I stream from console. Do you guys hear it disconnect and reconnect? Can you guys tell me that really quick? Because I'm trying to diagnose this right now. Because this thread seems like exactly it. Because on my end the sound gets distorted, but I can still play. Yeah, you hear it like disconnect and reconnect? Huh. Cocaine shooting. If you had told me that, I would not have joined. I would have just stayed offline. Heaven knows I have like no patience tonight. After just like 30 minutes of everything breaking. You guys tricked me. No, I'm just kidding. It's not your fault. Well, it happened a lot more when I had my external SSD hooked up. When I had that hooked up, it happened all the time. But I disconnect it when I do anything involving the capture card. Like if I'm doing offline videos or streaming, and that seems to have fixed it, but now it's been happening again. I'll see how this holds up. I wasn't going to be on for late today, but now I kind of want to be on for a while and see. Because I've tried other ports too that are under nowhere near as much load, and it still happens. Being a content creator is hard. And stuff like this just happens. And there's no, like, clear-cut answer to why it's happening. This person's mentioning high CPU load, but my CPU is at like 17% right now. It's nowhere near under heavy load. Now, my computer's been weird lately. I haven't been able to update Windows for months. It, like, downloads the update and it restarts, and then it hangs while it's loading the BIOS. On the BIOS screen, it just hangs. I haven't been able to fix it. I hear the latest version of Windows 10 is not that great anyway, but I will have to update at some point whenever they make this one end of life. I've just been so frustrated lately. I haven't had the patience to deal with it right now. Been under a ton of stress. This boss sucks. Cocaine shooting. It's a good name for him. Jeez, this slow lasts forever. What? Been slow for like a minute straight. Like how you apply it to them and it lasts like 2 seconds. When they do it to you, it lasts like forever. Slow mode. Is it ever gonna run out? I'm just gonna customize my stuff while you fight. Stuck in slowpoke mode. Jeez, it's been on like 2 minutes now. Is it like glitched? Hey, wow, if you want to hear some good news, I posted about the Meat Boy, the character just dying from nothing, and apparently it's an issue that they're fixing right now. Like, wow, that's cool. That's one good thing that's happened tonight. After a bunch of frustration. So I might play that a little bit tonight. It's already kind of late. I don't know how long I'll be on tonight, but I'll check that out. So I have been enjoying that game more. It seems like it's better to just not go for 100% in that game, because none of the characters except one play any differently. I might just do like little casual speedruns of that game. I've been playing it a lot off camera at my second job with my neighbor. It takes a while to grow on you, but I feel like the unlockables are a lot weaker because the characters don't play differently. And I guess because of the procedurally generated nature, it's hard for them to do like different playstyles and stuff like they did with the first game. That's probably the reason why, I would imagine anyway. They don't want to test 7,000 level chunks and make sure it works with every character. That's a ridiculous amount of man hours. The best of the worst bosses tonight. Worst boss. Come on, man. I hate this stupid boss. Now this dickwad has to spawn. Please stop flying. If you had told me this boss was here tonight, I would have just went to bed. I know it's not your guys' fault, but I hate this fucking boss. Standard annoying flying enemy. Spends more time running away than actually engaging with you. So our New Year's present on this game, the gauntlet of all the worst bosses. Boss is Garbo. At least make it so if you shoot him or something, he comes down. Well, it seems fine right now. Knock on wood. It's been how long now? About half an hour and it hasn't done it. It hasn't turned off. Which means that it probably would have happened with the other card too. So, if this does fix it. They also rebooted too, so I don't know which one it was. health is so annoying, man. Why can't they all do that? It takes too long to wear off. You get it for like 2 seconds. Again! How many times can you do that? I would just skip this guy. It's not fun. Oh, this guy is so obnoxious. Watch out, there's another purple in there. That guy better drop a best-in-slot item for how obnoxious he was. That was the most annoying enemy I've ever seen. That guy would not die. rough start to this stream because everything started breaking at once, but it seems to be working for now. I think turning off the power save may have fixed it. The ultimate test will be tomorrow, or later today. It's already past midnight. I'm going to try plugging in my my external SSD and this at the same time. Because if it doesn't do it then I have actually diagnosed what's wrong. But because these community members of mine were nice enough to invite me to play online, I didn't want to mess with it right now. I don't want to do tech support on someone else's time. But that'll be a good way to diagnose it. If I plug in the external SSD and it still works, then I actually did just fix it. Let's see what I got from that. Did I get anything good? Oh, that one's not bad, actually. That one's not terrible. This one's not terrible either. Not great, but not terrible. Oh, wait. This is actually pretty good. Wow, that's a good piece. Huh. Alright, well that's one usable piece. It's all junk. What scrolls are you gonna do? That depends. Depends on what scrolls you're gonna do. Let me see which ones you guys are gonna do. Otherwise I might just hop off. I'm feeling better now that things seem to be working again, but I have to see if there's anything I really want to do. Susanoo, yeah, I can use that. Sure, I'll come along.
My daddy?
Nah, I totally understand. Take your time. Actually, I should probably do the same. See if I can upgrade my junk. Yeah, I got pissed off earlier. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of being clinically anxious when things just stop working. It's hard for me to not get frustrated. It would frustrate anybody, not just somebody with my disability. I had to remember that, but I always feel bad when I get frustrated like that. But yeah, I know it's a very natural reaction, especially with computers. Things just stop working for no reason. So it would irritate anybody. I have to try to remember that more often. And people seem to be understanding. I just try to not blow up like that, but I've been under a lot of stress lately, so it just adds up sometimes. Yeah, this is PS4, but PC's in about a month. This is the only reason I ever use my PS4 is this game. As soon as this drops on PC and it's got some sick mods, I'll never play it on here again. For what it's worth, this game does run pretty well on base PS4. It's just when you start doing endgame stuff in parties, you can see that it can't hold up. The frame rate will just completely tank. And in a game like this, it's supposed to be really difficult. It's a mess, to put it nicely. And when you're playing solo, when you put it in the performance mode, it runs fine. But if you actually intend on playing this game mostly with friends, the PC version is going to be exponentially better. It's less artificial than 1, but it's still got its fair share of bullshit. The end game is a lot better than 1, for what it's worth. Like, much better.
私も村ままたど
Max Parties 3. I thought 1 had a terrible endgame. I actually did get to the abyss. I got to that point and I stopped playing because it was very repetitive and artificial. and the pacing was absolutely horrendous. 999 floors of the same 30 bosses. And then they started putting in stupid stuff like dual boss fights. There's none of that in this game. Endgame is pretty much better in every way as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people are a little bit too obsessed with the number of floors decreasing when it's like there's more actual progress being made. It's not just they don't need to be 1,000 floors with the exact same thing. Here it's 108 and then you get 5 dailies every day, so it's kind of got a little bit of a service game type thing going, which actually works quite well. I actually got to the end game in this and finished it. I can't say I did that in the first game. I got to like the 20th or 30th floor and I just stopped playing. I think they did a real kick-ass job in making this better. But you know how people are. They're obsessed with how much content there is instead of whether it's actually good content. There's a lot less in-game content, but it's more meaningful to clear. There's a number of reasons for that. The first would be uh, the fact that certain floors drop specific graces, and then also, once you get to the final part of the end game, you get scrolls that have a much higher chance to drop the gear you want, which is way better than having 1,000 floors of just the same bosses, and the horrible pacing from having to debuff, get rid of all the debuffs, and then double boss fights. Props to the people who got that far. They have a ton of dedication, but I don't have that kind of dedication for this game. Yeah, there's a lot of obsession over the number instead of like the actual quality of it. Lots of games have really shitty endgame, but people like it because it goes on forever. I'm happy if it actually ends in a respectable amount of time. I feel like I'm done with the game, but still have the option to play more if I want. Which is exactly what this game is. Someone could carry you through the whole underworld in like one day, if you wanted. But there's still a lot to do after that, if you're looking to become as powerful as possible. If you're only interested in just skill-based stuff, then this game will lose its luster really quickly. The thing that keeps it interesting is the loot. The loot and the fact that the combat is not just button mashing.
Ready?
What's with the question marks, Espada? Did you ask something?
Go!
What music? Oh. I'm watching something. Monkey Ball is on sale, so I'm kind of looking at some Switch footage because my Best Buy has it, so I could pick it up. Yeah, sorry. I can't hear anything on my PC when I stream from console. It's all muted because I don't have a mixer. So I mostly game on PC these days. Capture cards mostly just for guides, port reviews, and then stuff that's exclusive like this. Yeah, it's the new Monkey Ball. I was kind of thinking of getting it. I love the first Monkey Ball. That was a fun game. I didn't play any of the ones after it, though. I don't know if that one is actually any good or not. But I've got to be there later this week for the new capture card anyway. If they have something cool, I'll pick it up too. That would not be a game I would stream, by the way. That would just be for my second job. That's pretty much what my Switch has become. There haven't been any good exclusives on the Switch for a while. I just play ports of stuff I have on PC at my neighbor's house when I'm kitty sitting. That's what my Switch has become, a port machine. Besides stuff like Hyrule Warriors, which I was physically incapable of playing, there hasn't been much interesting on there. I do have a lot of port reviews to work on, but I'm kind of waiting until my new capture card comes. This really does not have that much in common with Dark Souls. It's one of those games that gets endlessly compared to it and has a lot less in common with it. You have more than like 2 moves for one. There's a very extensive loot system and lots of different ways you can play. You don't get that kind of freedom in From Software games, but From Software games have much more fair combat because it's designed around a very limited character. Whereas in this, there's like countless ways you can play. Like, not many people are using the build that I'm using, but you're seeing how destructive it is. A lot harder to balance a game when you have like that many options versus From Software games where the combat does not have much depth to it. Sekiro, though, I haven't played that game. I'm not interested in playing it, but common thing people say about that game is it has pretty one-dimensional combat. You can really only play the game like one way, but it has a much better level design. It's much better level design. This game's level design is pretty bad, actually. The level design is like an afterthought in this game. You play this game because of the combat and the loot. Pretty much every other aspect of it, besides the music, which is pretty good sometimes, is very lacking compared to the competition. But if you ask me if the combat's not fun, I'm not going to play the game, so I can look past those things. And the end game in this does a pretty good job of making it so you barely have to interact with the level design. It has a lot in common with DMC4, actually. How that game is, the levels suck to go through, the level design is bad, the puzzles, and all the backtracking. But that game still holds on because it has Bloody Palace. You don't have to interact with the campaign. It's very much how this game is. If they ever made another one of these, I would want them to add, like, aerial combat and, like, platforming, more elevation. Make the level design make more sense instead of your dude being stuck by A barely put together wooden fence. Things like that would need to be improved. Games like Sekiro, which this game gets compared to a lot just because it's set in the Sengoku era of Japan. That game is like much better level design than this, but the combat is nowhere near as expressive. You don't have as much freedom. It just depends on what you value. I don't like restrictive games with like barely any moves and stuff, so I don't like any of FromSoft stuff. None of their games appeal to me at all. This is the only game of this type that I've ever enjoyed. I have a lot of grievances with it, but there's a lot it does right. It's just a matter of if you can look past it or not. This game pretty much has like PS2 level design. The problem is that the character can't really interact with the environment as much as something like Sekiro. The environment's just kind of there to split up the fights, but it's not like DMC5 where it's just run to the next room and fight guys, which is actually quite fun because there's no gimmicks. It's more like you have to backtrack all the way around because your guy can't get past a wooden door. That's too much for him. Even though he can summon like literal demons from his body. He can't swim. Things like that. We're all pretty much at the end game. Oh, you won't get off me. Multiplayer does not inherently make this game easier. It can actually make things a lot harder because the enemies get a lot more health and ki. Ki is stamina. If you have three people who know what they're doing, actually have some semblance of a build so they do damage, then you can offset it. If not, then no. You play this game with randoms, a lot of times you get people who don't know what they're doing. Which isn't a problem. I don't expect everybody to be really good at a hardcore game like this, but the game kind of discourages playing with people who aren't the same skill level as you because of the scaling. Yes, I have a Discord. Let me send it to you. The scaling in this game makes it either like a steamroll like that, or it's impossible because people aren't pulling their own weight. But we're all like endgame players. We're all pretty decent at it, so they get bodied pretty hard. Yeah, I don't know why you picked this scroll. Fuck that boss, man. Garbage boss. They never willingly fight it. I hard disagree there, but maybe he'll drop something. I still need a good chess piece. Nice. Good fight. Last one? Sure. Fuck that guy. Yeah, you gotta go, dude. Oh, you're a fellow ninja, but sorry. Thanks for the runs. Don't think I got anything good today, but that's fine. Actually, I did get that one good piece today. Let's see if I can find that in here. Yeah, GG's. Oh, that's right, it was this one I was going to use. This one has melee damage and active damage. See if I've got a Grace Inheritance. Here's one. The character creation? It's whatever.
いらっしゃい。
I think it made the story for this game even worse than the first one. Because your character has, like, no emotion whatsoever. I think it made the story worse. Not that anybody really plays this for the story, but still. Your character looks like he or she is high, like, all the time. And it gets really awkward. They are not capable of making a character that doesn't speak. They haven't learned anything from Nintendo. Nintendo's like the only one that can pull that off. Like, a character commits seppuku in front of you, and your character just stares off into space. It's like, okay. I think they could have fixed it if they, like, made it so your character had a couple lines that they could say. I think that would have mostly fixed the problem, but watching the cutscenes in this game is a cringe fest. It makes, like, no sense. Your character is completely devoid of showing emotion. Like, all this dramatic stuff happens, you find, like, you find your family and stuff, and, like, people kill themselves in front of you, and there's all these crazy monsters and stuff, and your character just is incapable of showing any kind of emotion. It does not work. But one of the main things they really wanted, people wanted from this game, was character creation. You can't knock them for giving people what they want. It's just trying to have a cohesive story set in an era where you really have to be knowledgeable about the history, and then you add time travel on top of that, which makes it even more incomprehensible. Even if you do know a lot of the history, and then you have a brain-dead, mute protagonist, the cutscenes aren't worth watching. They're worth watching for the schlock factor, unintentional laughs, but it's just one of those classic things of trying to do something that just does not work. You can't have an emotional story and stuff with a silent protagonist. That pretty much died when voice acting started becoming a thing in video games, and we stopped using sprites, and you could actually see the characters' faces. I feel like that's when believable silent protagonists died. You could get away with that in, like, the 8 and 16-bit era because there wasn't technology to really do cutscenes back then anyway. It's mostly just the characters standing around with a couple of predetermined animations, and everything was text, but for some reason they keep trying. It's just not possible to do. Even in, like, the new Zelda game, it's awkward because everybody else can talk, but Link can't. Link has more expression than pretty much any other silent protagonist, but it's still awkward. I give them props for trying, but the reality of it is there's just no way it could have worked. I was actually laughing quite a bit at the cutscenes because of how cringe they were. No, it's mostly just making them mute and not putting enough effort into them actually being able to convey emotion. Nintendo's the only one that really pulls that off. But even now they're experimenting with the other characters that aren't Link talking, and that just makes it awkward too. At least before, when they were doing 3D Zelda games, but there still wasn't any actual voice acting besides grunts. It kind of worked. But they still keep trying to do silent protagonists in modern games. I don't know why. I don't know why they bother. It's just something that it can't work. Exactly. There's just no way it could have worked.
Matador.
See, do I even really need scrolls anymore? I don't think I do. The only thing I really need is a headpiece with what's it called? Increased attack on winded enemy, and then active key damage. That's like the last piece of my build, pretty much. I've got it pretty much all optimized. Let's see if there's a scroll for that up. If not, I'm gonna play something else for a little bit and go to bed. I think I have a Ninigi scroll, Sarith. I'm pretty sure I do have one. Can share it with you, maybe next session. Yeah, I have this one, Sareth, if you're still here. Yeah, I have this one. I've got some resets for it too, so I can run that with you next session, or now if you want. It's up to you. Otherwise, I'm just gonna reset attempts here for a little bit. Probably just go to bed. I've got a bunch of resets, so should spread it around at least. Because I'm never changing this scroll. This is perfect for me. That's all best in slot stuff, pretty much. There is, right here. That's what this is. Look closely. This is a Nanigi lucky drop. So, exactly what you're asking. Alright, let me know. That still one-shot me for some reason. He's getting his revenge. Alright, after this one. Uh, well, thanks for explaining the bullshit that happened. Thanks for that. This game is very obtuse. I'm going to tell you how exactly how some things work, and then other things are like not explained anywhere. This is definitely a what I like to call a second monitor game. In a lot of ways, very much a second monitor game. It's a lot harder to enjoy when you don't have like your second monitor with the guide up at all times. There's a Google document that gets rid of a lot of the obtuse stuff if you look at it. Just playing this game with no guide is very difficult. That's why I've been focusing on guides, because I know that's gonna go real well for me next month. Those guides will probably pay this game off. Right now there's not much interest, but as soon as the PC crowd comes into play... Alright, is it not gonna let me make a room? Those of you curious about the scaling, this is a pretty good example of it right here. The boss would have been dead by now if I was soloing, because I had him in an endless loop of getting stunned. But they get a lot more health and ki when you have a three-person party, which unfortunately reinforces having people be on the equal skill level. Because if they're not doing any damage, or they keep dying, then it's going to be like insurmountable to clear. It used to be even worse. They had to actually nerf the scaling because human bosses were taking like 10 minutes to beat. When they first added this mode, they had to actually nerf the scaling, but it's still pretty significant. It's really only faster if everybody is running a pretty busted build. The skill levels are pretty equal. People are taking advantage of times to attack and stuff. Otherwise, it's almost always faster to solo. Also, when you're in a party and you're exploring, not just doing boss fights like this, more enemies are added as well. If you join as a visitor for somebody, if they invite you that way, there's no stat scaling. So some people take advantage of that. If they're playing with somebody they know from somewhere else, uh, they'll just tell you to summon them as a visitor, because that way they can help you and there's no scaling. Scaling used to be like ridiculous. It used to be really bad, but now it's relatively decent. But if people aren't pulling their own weight, it can become insurmountable sometimes. Well, you got it first try. Nice. Congrats. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you get it. I don't think I need anything Ninigi right now. I mostly need a Susanoo piece. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for helping me out. You're the one that helped me out. Glad I could help. I think I'm about to crash soon myself. Unless I have a good scroll in here, which I don't. I can reset this one a few times. This is not a 2-boss one, though, so it can't be abused. Yeah, I don't have any Susanoo ones, because on my headpiece I could get active damage, active key damage, increased attack on winded enemy, and then anima charge would be really good. Okay, I'm gonna do this a couple times and probably call it a night. Oh, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Do you know if Power Pill stacks with, or conflicts with increased attack on winded enemy? I'm not sure if it does. What's the tally? Did I get anything? I did get one, but it's got poop affixes. This has poop affixes too. A lot of poop. Nothing good at all. I'm gonna run through this twice more, and I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. Oh, nice. I love when that happens. You get stuck in an animation, they just grab me. Here we go with the poop spam. Come on, get out of it faster. Irritating enemies. Oh, brilliant. I picked a perfect time to do that. His key bar is like pitifully small. Dude, like three high stance hits with the tonfas into shove is doing like 50% of his key bar. That's when he has full. When he has less, like, I can just endlessly stun lock him. He can't get up. The only thing I have to be careful about is when, if they do an attack like that on Wake Up, it will kill me. But you can see the power of this build, how busted it is. Not so much on human bosses, but yokai bosses. If you get the right rhythm, and they don't have a really fast wake-up attack that you can actually react to, yeah, you can pretty much just combo them to death. They can't touch you. Because I've stacked so much key damage. It's basically just getting them, depleting the bar once, and then at least bosses like him, they can't get out of it. They're stuck. Completely trapped. I don't think I got any headpieces. Mostly got junk. Alright, one more. One battering ram is taking off like 40% of their key bar too, and that's like... That takes like... That's as long as it takes to get that out. And it takes off like half their key. It's amazing. They are not programmed to deal with that. Hello, Trevor. Get bodied, sir. Dude, this build is so ridiculous. I don't care if it's meta or not. It's fun. I'm definitely seeing the, I'm seeing the fruits of my labor. At least on yokai bosses, mostly when I'm soloing. But it's still a pretty noticeable amount of key damage, even when I'm in a full party. It's just when I'm soloing that they can't fight. They just get completely AI looped. But it depends on the boss, though. The boss has a really fast wake-up move. It won't work as well. But if you come in prepared, you can generally drain their ki pretty quickly. Alright, I'll save the rest of the resets for later. Oh, what's up, Sage? Oh, whoa, it's popping tonight. There's a lot up right now. Damn. I don't think I need any of this stuff, though. Nothing I'd want to really grab for myself, anyway. Why is peak hours for this game at 2 a.m. PST? Must be our international Nioh friends waking up or something. Generally, there's never that many rooms up. I think I'm done on this for tonight. I did get one good piece today, so it's good enough. Oh yeah, I'll talk to you later. I'm about to sign off anyway. I'm just gonna play something for a little bit, and that's gonna be it for tonight. Epic Game Store is taking a fiscal year to load, so I'm gonna go AFK for a second and take my meds. It's gonna take, it usually takes a while for my meds to kick in, so just give me a little bit here. No, that's fine. I'm about to go to bed anyway. I'm just checking something out here really quick. Generally takes like half an hour for my meds to kick in, so I can go a little bit longer. Meds make me help me sleep.
Super Meat Boy forever!
See if this got fixed. I hate this level, Chuck. I've got this one a lot. Offline runs. can skip that. Nah. Ah, Stubble Chunk sucks. Not giving me the good ones. KOF All-Star luck is transferring to this game. Ah, there we go, got it. Got the part-time too. All the bad level chunks. All the bad ones. None of the good ones. Wow, that didn't count as being done with that chunk. What? Why? That should have counted. That's dumb. Died like right at the end. Didn't count. You only get to keep it if you beat the chunk. It should count now. Nice. I really dig this track. I hate the first level's track because it's like lame country. This track's pretty good. Soundtrack's not as good as the first game, but it's got a couple bangers. Not as many as you'd expect from a Super Meat Boy game, though. This is a good track, though. This one sounds like a Danny B track. Some of the others don't. Damn it. That didn't count as being above it, really. Got it. Fuck, man. I've never done this one before. These ones where you have to wait are really irritating. I like the ones where you can go at your own pace. Got it. Come on, man. This seed sucks. What I'm doing on my Switch file is like way better than this one. This one's just kind of unfun. Nowhere near par on that one, but that's because I got the pacifier. Chunks like this are boring. You can't go quickly. These are the chunks I would dislike the most. I almost had a good skip there. I was like a Mega Man X type skip. Almost got bar on that. That was not bad. If I can get that pacifier, I'm gonna try to get that one. That's a tight jump, though. The thing that sucks about this game, though, is the characters don't play any differently. That's probably my biggest criticism of it. When I first played this game, I hated it. But it actually is, there's a lot more mechanics than you think. I think the problem is they don't introduce the mechanics until this world. The first world is just kind of just basic Super Meat Boy type stuff, but they do a lot with just having two buttons and having it be an auto runner. It's surprising how in-depth the mechanics get and how how crazy the puzzles get and stuff, but the puzzles are kind of a mixed bag. You can get really frustrated because it's not about your skill anymore, it's about solving it the way they want you to. When it just gives you platforming chunks, I think this game is actually quite fun, if you just give it a chance. I'm glad I gave it a second chance. I really enjoyed my Switch playthrough. say one thing about this game though is, since it's procedurally generated from like 7,000 level chunks, your first experience can either be awful or really fun. There's a speedrun seed going around right now in the speedrunning community that has like no puzzles at all. It's just straight platforming, and it's amazing how much better the game looks when it doesn't have that stuff. I feel like this is a really hard game to review. Way more than like a roguelike or something. Because it's not like the items or anything, it's the levels that you get. And some of them are really unfun, or they take a really long time to get through, so it can be really frustrating when it doesn't give you something entertaining. This is a good example. We messed this up, it takes like 20 seconds to get back to where you are. Level length is kind of part of the problem too. You get a lot of really long, frustrating puzzle chunks like this, the game stops being fun to play. I don't really know how they could fix that though, aside of just like having people decide which chunks are not good for speedrunning. 100% in this game doesn't even seem like it's worth it to me, because none of the characters play differently. Stuff like unlocking the guy in the first Super Meat Boy is something I'll always cherish. How rewarding it was to do that. And he made the rest of the game a lot easier. But in this game you don't get that luxury just because of the way it's designed. I'm not big on getting stressed out trying to unlock just skins. I'm more likely to do stuff like that if it actually adds a different way to play the game. A lot of the speedrunners haven't done 100% either. They don't bother with it. I can't blame them. This is a pretty fun... It can be a fun game to play just over and over. It's got the replay value, but when you get chunks like this, it just gets agitating. It's not fun anymore. This chunk is balls. I wonder if there's a way I can skip it over there. I might be able to. In case I ever encounter this one again. Yeah, I think I can skip it. Might be tight though. There we go, skipped. I saved like 8 seconds off bar. Sometimes you can do cool stuff like that, but then other times you can't. Glad I just said just fuck that puzzle, just skip it. Oh, that was weird. How was I supposed to clear that? It's giving me some real shit patterns. keeps happening. I think I need to not push the button. There we go. Yeah, I need to not do a full punch. Fuck, man. Did not have this problem the first time. Maybe they changed something. How did I screw that up? I love this one. It's a Contra 3 parody. Let's attack aggressively. Let's attack aggressively. It's pretty awesome. Damn, that's a tight one to get. That's incredibly tight. Let's try to get it. You can't make it over there from there. I wonder how you're supposed to do that. Ah, I see how to do it. Alright, he's got to come over here. There we go. Quick thinking. Got stuck. This is a cool chunk. Very creative. And then he just runs to his death because he can't turn around. Sucks for speed runs though. You would not want this chunk of the speed run. At least like 10 seconds here. Auto scroller. Ah, fuck, man. No, you idiot! Fucking turn around, dude. Chunks like this they're creative, but they're not fun. Because you spend too much time repeating the same thing. It's pretty fun when it lets you skip stuff like that, but it's rare. Didn't see that there. Perfect navigation of a chunk I haven't seen before, and then I screw up the easiest part. Just push the down button. Almost got far on that one. Oh, I did. Just barely. Whoa, I just clipped through the wall. What? Just clip through the wall. Clip through it again. Speed tech. I think I've figured out a way to skip this. See if my theory is true. I see what you're supposed to do. Let's get that pacifier. I think I know how to get that one. Probably just requires a short jump. This chunk's kind of suspect too. Not too fun. about this chunk either. A little frustrating if you don't make that exact jump at the end, then Meat Boy just runs off to his death. It's also really easy to get kind of soft lock like that. Let's see if I can get it this time. I think I'm going to stop at the third boss. That's going to be when I stop for now. No, you idiot! Wow. Ghostbusters. Alright. This is gonna be it for today. See if I can speed kill this boss. Might as well reset that one. That's a reset. I keep getting, I get the speed strat, but then I fuck up actually hitting him. Missed it again. Nice. That's the speed kill. Cool. I've been watching a lot of speedruns for this game. It's a very fun game to spectate because it's different every time. How much thinking on the fly you have to do. Alright, well that's about 60% of the game done, and I don't have enough energy to do the rest. He grants access, he gets access to the lab by flipping off the hand scanner. The cutscenes in this are very well done. It's got a nice little story to it, even though there's no voice acting. this, there's one more level after this one. This level is pretty fun. It has a lot of really creative mechanics. I feel like this game gives a really bad first impression. I had a really bad first impression of it too. It actually is quite fun, and they do a lot with it being an auto runner. There definitely are periods of time where it's very frustrating, mostly when it's a really long chunk that's mostly a puzzle, and you can't like speed it up. There is speed tech in the game. It is very fun to play multiple times. I think they nailed the replay value. It's mostly just some of the chunks just aren't fun, and you don't really introduce the cool mechanics until you're like over halfway through the game. The first level has just the standard Meat Boy mechanics from the first game, but then it starts getting really creative. Even though it seems really simple on the surface, they start making you do some pretty crazy stuff, especially when you get into the dark world. But my problem with the dark world is that it's like feels like it's over half just puzzles. And the problem with the puzzles in this game is you can get stuck on them for a really long time. The levels are already like over 3 times longer than the levels in the first game. So when you get like multiple chunks that are just all puzzles, and it's less about your fast reflexes and thinking on the fly and platforming well and using the mechanics, it's mostly just solving puzzles. That's probably my biggest complaint with the game after beating it. I tried to do some of the Dark World stuff, but I just kept getting chunks that were puzzles, and it stopped being fun. Well, luckily, though, none of the characters play differently besides one, and he's a joke character, so you can very easily just play it the way I've been playing it and just beat it and then make another seed. You can kind of treat it like a roguelike, and I think it's cool that it can be played like that, but I feel like the unlockables are kind of weak. You get nice little mini games and stuff, but the whole like allure of getting through something really difficult and then getting a character that changes how you play the game completely is totally lost. Is totally lost in Super Meat Boy Forever, and I think that's just a side effect of having it be procedurally generated. It would be like a massive undertaking to make sure that every character can finish every chunk, and I can see why they did that, but it makes unlocking stuff in that game feel kind of pointless. It's nice to have skins, sure, but you're asking people to go through really difficult and annoying constant puzzles to get what's literally just a skin. You have to be a special kind of masochist to do that. At least in the first game, some of the characters that were really hard to get, like the guy, they made the game a lot easier, and it was fun to play through the game again with them. But in Meat Boy Forever, it's just kind of, we put a lot of time into these mini games so you can play them, and they're kind of fun, and I like the references and stuff, but material unlockable wise, I think Meat Boy Forever is really weak. But luckily, you don't have to do everything in a video game to have fun with it. I think it's a great game if you just play through the end and then just make another file. When you do that, it's pretty fun. It's when you start trying to unlock things is where the weaknesses of the procedural level generation really start to show. It's not uncommon in the harder levels to just get constant puzzles, and it stops being a platformer at that point. It's more like a puzzle game, but it's a puzzle game where you can get stuck on the same thing and then get another one, and it can be very mentally draining. Oh, what's up, Payne? Yeah, thanks for the compliment on the podcast. It kind of didn't feel like I deserved to be on there because I'm not very good at Nioh, but I'm good at action games in general, so I guess he wanted my input. I'm glad people seem to like it. Let me see if anyone's on to host. It's not 7,000 levels, it's 7,000 chunks of levels that are randomly generated. But there's definitely some problems with it. I feel like the end game stuff in that is like not worth doing unless you really like hardcore puzzle platforming. Hardcore platforming I'm fine with. Hardcore puzzle platforming is when I start to get really exhausted. That's been a pretty common complaint with Meat Boy Forever is the difficulty spike when you get to the Dark World, and then it's like not even really worth doing unless you really want to see everything. But it's kind of a weird game. It feels like some aspects of it are better than the first game, like the graphics and having better replay value. Because for an average person, once you beat Super Meat Boy 106%, you never wanted to play it again. And I think they fixed that problem, but they went a little overboard with the puzzles, and it's just not for me. But just playing it like I did today, I just played through like half the game right now. Is very fun. Oh, the Devastation videos. Yeah, that was a long ass time ago, dude. That was 6 years ago. Yeah, I play a variety of action games. I'll play pretty much anything that has good melee combat. I'll give it an honest chance and give my opinion, honest opinion. If I don't like it, I just move on. That tends to be how I do things. There's not a lot of games that have that kind of standard, but I'll try pretty much anything if the price is right and I have time. I'll try pretty much anything. I know people respect my opinion, so I try to get through the game and, you know, say what's wrong with it and stuff. Well, the original Super Meat Boy had pretty shitty replay value. It had really bad replay value. It was very challenging, but by the time you unlocked everything, you're the average person. I'm talking like not a speedrunner that can beat it in an hour. It's possible to finish everything in Super Meat Boy in like an hour and 10 minutes, but for the average person, it takes dozens of hours to do it. By the time you got to that point, it wasn't fun to play anymore. It has its pros and cons. You can get a really shitty seed that's like all puzzles and auto scrollers and stuff, and the game is not fun. But if you get one that's mostly just precision, fast paced platforming, it's really cool to have something like that you can't just completely memorize. You have to think on the fly, even if you know all the level chunks, which will take like probably hundreds of playthroughs. You still have to like adapt on the fly, and sometimes the way things are arranged, you can skip things. And I played another game like that called 20XX, which is kind of constructed in the same way. It had level chunks, and you could learn them, but depending on what they were combined with, it could completely change the dynamic. Yeah, replay value in Super Meat Boy Forever is subjective. You can just play through and not do anything else, or you can go for 100%, but there's very little material reward for doing so. I think the frustration factor of getting everything and dealing with all those annoying puzzles is not there. It's really unbalanced. Why am I going to go through all that for a skin? The skins are really cool and they put a lot of work into them, but the fact that they don't play differently is like kind of a buzzkill. The first game had a lot of skins too, but it did have like I think like 8 characters or something. It was less than 10 characters that played differently, and it was cool to use them for different levels. They made some levels really easy, and that made it feel really rewarding to unlock them, but in Forever, that's just completely gone. Well, I think the issue is when you can design platforming characters that play differently when the levels are set, but when they're procedurally generated, it's a lot harder to do that. Especially with Super Meat Boy Forever being an auto runner, I can see how it would be hard to do that. But that's probably my biggest problem with that game. The sometimes excessive amount of puzzles you get, and then The fact that unlocking things just feels kind of pointless because it's not giving you new ways to play the game. It's just going through puzzles that piss you off for skins. I mean, I'm sure they could have like charged real money for those skins, but yeah, the unlockable replay value is really weak. It's the fact that there's a lot of different levels is what makes it fun. I hated the game when I first started it, but after I played it for a while and I gave it a couple hours of an honest chance, I enjoyed it a lot more. But the other problem is that it's procedurally generated, so I think that first seed I had was just a really shitty seed, and it wasn't fun. I feel like Meat Boy Forever is a very hard game to review because everybody's experience is going to be different. But I'm going to try to put up a review for that today, actually. So this will be the second time I beat it, so I'll try to get that done. Anyway, let me see who I can host here. I've got a couple Twitch viewers tonight. I'm going to try to get to bed. My pills are starting to kick in, so I'm finally starting to get tired. Let's see here. Are there any Meat Boy Forever speedrunners on? Let's see. Speedruns for this game are really fun to watch because it's not the same thing every time. It's actually quite different. Let's see. There's someone speedrunning right now. I'm gonna send you guys over to a speedrun. There's not much else on right now. It's not the objective that's the problem. It's the fact that it's got a mix of like puzzle platforming and then just standard hardcore platforming. And if you don't like both, the game can be very frustrating to play, and not in an intended way. That was kind of the experience I had with it the first time I beat it. I got some really obnoxious puzzles, and it just stopped being fun. But when it gave me levels that I just had to think fast and perform well, it's really fun. That's a hard thing to fix though, because it's kind of like what are people's standards for a puzzle and just basic platforming. I don't see how they could fix that, but I'm sure they'll probably add something. Maybe like a lot of the puzzle stuff will get removed, or they'll just have like certain chunks be selected and certain ones will be removed. I think that would be the quickest way to fix it. There's a seed that the speedrunners use that has like literally no puzzles, and the game looks crazy fun, but then you watch someone play, like just watching me play right now, and all those puzzles and auto-scroller chunks I got, the game doesn't look fun. It's very polarizing. But they're trying to do something out of the box, and when you try to do something out of the box, it doesn't always work. That's just the reality of it. Some aspects of it work and some don't. Props to them for trying to change the formula, though. The auto runner stuff, it feels awful at first, but once they start introducing new mechanics in the later worlds, it actually does feel quite fun. But like I said, even that is going to be different from person to person. Anyway, it's 3 in the morning. I'm going to head off. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to go ahead and host this person. Uh, I don't think he speaks English, but it's a Meat Boy speedrun, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and host this person. I'll catch you guys after my second job, my kitty sitting job. I'll probably do more Nioh and then maybe some more Meat Boy. Catch you guys later.